Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. Please wait for a few minutes until we have all of our panelists joining, and we'll start shortly. We still have a lot of people that didn't join, so give us some time. Thank you. Hello, Hiba. You're muted.
Hello, Hiba. You are on mute, Hiba.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Yes, so we are waiting for Ahmed, and then we will start in a few seconds or minutes, maybe one or two. And of
Alright.
course, I'm gonna make the introductions to everyone, so please bear with me a little bit.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hello,
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Hello,
How
Ahmed.
are you? Everything okay?
Fine.
Good. There were some
Nice.
technical issues, but all solved. I'm glad to see here everyone. So it's 3:32 here in Polish time. Let's give it one more minute and then I'm going to start. This webinar is recorded, so it will be on our ISC2 Tunisia chapter channel, and probably people will join slowly. We have around 24, 25 people who registered, but as we all know, not everyone attends immediately, and also people take their time when it's remotely. So let's give it a few minutes before we start. So, does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, everyone. Welcome to the webinar session organized by ISC2 Tunisia chapter. And today our webinar is Breaking and Breakthrough, a practical roadmap to pen testing, or how to become a pen tester, or how to start your career, whatever you would like to do. So, just a quick introduction as well of myself. I am Dr. Magdalena Shelley. I am the co-founder of RiskImmune and the president of ISC2 Chapter Tunisia. And today I am joined by Jauhar Musbehi. Jauhar is as well the vice president of the ISC2 Tunisia chapter. And Jauhar, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Magda. Thank you. I think not in mute, so thank you, everyone. Good morning, good evening, what you are. I am Jauhar Musbehi, the vice president of IC2 knows I square, just to ensure, IC2 Tunisia chapter. Currently, I am SISU, Chief Information Security Officer with 16 years of experience. I have joined Magda to the chapters. So thank you all for joining us today. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Jauhar. So before I start with our panelists and with the webinar, a few rules to follow. So welcome again, but please make sure to keep your microphone muted and mute only when invited. Please, if you are unmuted, avoid any background noise. The videos are off. As you know, you are as an audience and an attendees, but you can use the Q&A section to ask any questions. We will try to answer them. We have time as well. And of course, and the most important, be polite and professional, because this is extremely non-negotiable. I just remind this everyone. Now, the fantastic opportunity is actually happening because of our sponsors. So very quickly, thanking RiskImmune and Immune full disclosure, one of the company is actually fully mine. So I will not spend too much time on it because the most important are the stars of the show today. And I cannot be enough grateful for everyone present today. And I would like to give everyone 5 minutes of introductions. So I will not introduce them wrongly because I will not make enough, good introductions for them. So I prefer that everyone says a few words about the experience. And I will start by Hiba. Hiba, over to you, please, if you can tell us about yourself.
All right. Thank you, Magda, for your invite, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So my name is Hiba. I'm from Egypt. I work as a cybersecurity consultant. So my work basically is that I work with customers from different sectors to help them secure their systems, application, everything about their organization, help them make sure their systems are secured and enhance their organization maturity level. So this is what basically I do. I've been working in cybersecurity for around 9 years now. So yeah, quite a time. On the other hand, I really love helping others. For that, I contribute a lot and volunteer in community work. And this is one of the reasons I'm here today, because I want to help you start your career as a penetration tester, share tips and tricks, and help you and enlighten your way to make your path even more better and smarter and everything. So I'm super excited to be here with you all today. That's briefly about me. Don't want to take all the time, but that's like quick brief about me.
Thank you very much, Hiba. We're so excited to have you here today. Really, again, thank you so much and welcome. Gregory, over to you.
No, thank you, Magda. And maybe it's just me, but I'm seeing the top and the sidebars over the screen, so I'm not sure if that's visible for everyone. My name is Gregory van der Top, based out of the Netherlands, and I work for a vendor, Cloudflare. Maybe you know Cloudflare. We are a global connectivity network providing content delivery, application security, anti-DDoS, zero trust services, and also developer services. I've joined Cloudflare 6 months ago, and before that, I had the privilege to also work with Magda at our previous company, which was Marsh McLennan. I don't have much experience with pen testing, so I'm the wrong person to ask how to become a pen tester. But if you want to know about anything in cybersecurity, I could probably talk about it. So yeah, feel free to ask questions and let me know what your career looks like as well. I'd be super interested.
Thank you so much, Gregory. You have a lot of sharing to bring on the table, so really appreciate you to making the time to join us. And I would like to address as well later on some of the main subjects that we can talk when it comes to cybersecurity, because penetration testing is not the only option, and I think that would be a good start to bring that visibility to everyone. Gabrielle.
Hello. So I'm Gabrielle. I'm an offensive security consultant. I work as a pen tester at the largest financial cooperative in North America. So I have quite a deep focus on the banking industry. And also I have my own company on the side where I provide pen test and risk assessments and various other services such as talks and technical writing. And I'm very passionate about AI recently, and I have also a focus on mobile application pen test. So I have various. I did a talk recently at DEF CON on how to pen test AI enhanced Android applications. Yes, that's pretty much it, and I will be happy to answer any question you might have on how to become a pen tester.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle, for being here. We really appreciate it. What time is it there for you, by the way? I think is it very early?
No, it's okay. It's 9:40 in the morning.
Oh, okay, okay, nice. Not too early. Thank you again for being here. Ahmed.
Yes, so thank you very much for inviting me to give a small presentation about starting your career in the penetration testing field. It's an honor to be here. My name is Ahmed Hassan. I am living in Austria and I am working since almost 7 years as a penetration tester and cybersecurity consultant, generally making almost the same like Hiba, like consulting the companies for trying to protect their assets, trying to protect their infrastructure, internal, external, etc. And I know the main problem for everybody, how they can start their career into the penetration testing track, as I faced this issue in my earlier start into the penetration testing field. For that, I love and I'm really passionate about how to assist anybody to start into the cybersecurity field, especially the penetration testing part. And therefore, I love to give my presentation here to help anybody to start in the penetration testing field.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So everyone, again, thank you for being here. As you can see, really an exceptional list of panelists. So we can now start and ask really questions. And I think the first question that I want to ask our panelists is basically related to the cybersecurity. Before going into penetration testing, I think there is a need to understand cybersecurity domains in general, because from what I heard a lot of times, depending on the markets, sometimes cybersecurity is either perceived as being only being a penetration tester, or on the contrary, penetration testing is not even considered, and it's considered being more into compliance and governance, like, for example, being compliant with a standard like ISO 27001. So I will start this question, and again, the vision of cybersecurity and what it can entitle to, with Gregory. Gregory, as you worked, on a wide level of projects that go from various requests from clients, can you please give us a little bit more visibility of what can a cybersecurity project look like?
Oh, cybersecurity projects can be amazing to work on. So first and foremost, I think it's important to understand the business side of things. So why are you actually doing what you do? What are you trying to secure? And what are the benefits of you securing this? And then cybersecurity comes in many different forms. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years. And back when I started, the basic suggestion was that it starts with people, we have process, and we have technology. And I still find that this is very relevant. So whenever you do a cybersecurity project, likely all of these elements will come together at some point. And if we don't have the right people in place to do something, or if we fail to work for our people, then we're doing something wrong. If we haven't considered processes, then we're probably doing something wrong. And maybe the most important thing in cybersecurity, if we're not considering the technology, then we're certainly doing something wrong. So that is very broad. And I see cybersecurity also being embedded in many IT specific streams nowadays as well. So yeah, there's a lot to consider. But generally, you can separate cybersecurity in several domains. It's the technical domain, it's the governance, risk, and compliance domain. And I think those are probably where you will find a specific niche if you are interested in cybersecurity. And so pen testing is a lot about technology, but always keep in mind the people and the process as well.
Thank you very much, Gregory. And I want to share actually with everyone today a map. This map is one of the most favorite of mine. Is a map that shows how many domains they are. So before we go into going into penetration testing, I want to make sure that everyone understands that cybersecurity is not only about pen testing. Pen testing is one option. As you can see, the cybersecurity domains are really actually wide and diverse, but they are being and expanding every year because there is things that, of course, require more and more cybersecurity. So we can see from threat intelligence, physical security, career event development that is considered into this cybersecurity domains map. So if you have a doubt, go to that and you will find more information about it. Now, I am sure that a lot of attendees or people who are aiming into going into penetration testing, specifically career, which is basically also called ethical testing or ethical hacking or white hat hacking, they might wonder, what should I study, especially the young ones? So I have a question to all of you, one by one. If you can tell me, what did you study? Or did you even study something specific? Or you just are hands-on from the beginning and you learn by yourself? And let me ask Gabrielle first.
Yes, so a long time ago, it was an actress, so it's completely unrelated to pen test. But I would say the first thing that you can study, what I did is that I became a developer, and it's really a good skill to first have some coding experience and know about some languages, coding languages. So, and then one of the first thing I think you should do and you should learn is to get familiar with the methodologies, get familiar with the process. There are a lot of methodologies that you can find online. You have the OWASP, you have the pen test standard, you have various, like you have the MITRE attack. So these are the things you should have a look at. Read pen test report. It's really it's a very good way to learn because you have the vulnerabilities that are detailed, and you have some companies out there who will make their pen test report public, and you won't have only the executive summary, you will also have vulnerabilities that you can study, or you can read the bug bounty reports. All of them are public. And so, yes, get familiar with programming, as I mentioned. So one interesting language that you can learn is Python, for example. And also, very important as well is to learn about networks and protocols, because this is something you are going to have to pen test. So that, I think I said everything.
Thank you, Gabrielle. So basically, from your side, you definitely did study something else, but then you actually learned development and specifically Python language. What about you, Hiba? What was your studying, or basically, what did you focus in your early days?
First of all, I love the question because it really highlights on a very important part. So after we all answer this question, you feel that there is like no unique path that you need to follow, which gives you a lot of flexibility. So your story can be different from any of us, and I believe that as much as you talk with cybersecurity experts, as much as you're gonna understand and realize that there are many paths that you can follow, and there's not like fixed paths that you must follow. So about my path, I was a computer engineering student. I studied computer engineering for 5 years, and during summer breaks, I was going for internships, working as a developer. So I did my homework of being a software intern and also studying computer engineering for 5 complete years. And then after graduation, this is when I started to know about cybersecurity and start knowing about cybersecurity. So as you see, I didn't start early. I didn't have the privilege to start early, but however, that's also okay. So after graduation, I joined a scholarship for 9 months to fully learn about cybersecurity. In this scholarship, I had the privilege to learn from industry experts. So I had to know everything about cybersecurity, all domains, not only penetration testing, which is actually very good. So back to the beginning of our webinar when Magda was talking and everyone that what domains are there in cybersecurity? Everyone mentioned a specific domain. And when Magda shared the map, there are so many domains as well. So knowing about the other domains, you don't have to go deep in every domain because this is like no one of us do that. But having knowledge about all other domains as well makes you realize that cybersecurity domains is like a puzzle. We are all completing each other, and everyone has a very unique role and very important role. But by itself, it's not sufficient. We all complete each other. So I love this mindset. So after learning about cybersecurity for 9 months, during that, I was practicing on everything I'm learning because I'm not, I don't like theoretical knowledge only. There's also the part that is related to hands-on. So this is very important. So I was practicing during my learning about cybersecurity. And then after that, I started playing CTFs. And it was actually a very good thing to make me also sharpen my skills and have more hands-on experience and help me build a good reputation in the market because I was winning advanced positions in CTFs. After that, I launched my first career in cybersecurity, and then the journey started moving from this part.
But just to make sure that everyone understands, can you explain to people what is CTF? Because maybe in our audience, not everyone is familiar.
Yeah, sure. So CTF, that stands for Capture the Flag Competition. This is basically a competition. Okay, so in this competition, there are multiple challenges that covers many cybersecurity domains. So to solve a challenge, you need to make sure that you understand that specific domain. So if we are talking about forensics, if we are talking about penetration testing, you need to have like some sort of experience in that domain to be able to solve that challenge. So let's give an example on penetration testing since this is the topic of our webinar today. So you need to exploit a certain vulnerability in the application you are testing, if it's mobile or if it's web, whatever the application type, and you need to exploit that specific vulnerability in this specific technology to be able to complete the challenge. And after you complete the challenge, you are given a flag, just a message saying that successfully you have completed this and you are taking in return some points. So it's a very exciting way to help you sharpen your skills and have hands-on experience. So I used to play a lot of CTFs at the beginning of my career. Now I don't have time, but I still love them.
Yeah, I was about to say that it definitely requires time and dedication. So if we have any students or young professionals here in our webinar, definitely use your free time now to actually try and play those CTFs. They are super exciting and really fun because it's a competition. You get this flag, which is a message, and you can prove your skills. Thank you, Hiba. I have a question to ask. Is the weather like in your background in Egypt? Because I am in gray Poland and it's cold here.
The weather nowadays is at the morning it's quite good, but at night it's a little bit cold. So I
Yes,
wanted to give you the vibe. So it's like the sea
nice.
and the...
You're making us dream. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ahmed, what about you? What did you study?
Yeah, so from my side, as mentioned before, I had the problem to get the idea or to get from anybody the information which course or where I can start, and therefore I just searched a lot and did a lot of research, asked a lot of people how I can start, and at my time. This is not a promotion or something like this. It's a really good course I started with. It's called the eGPT, standing for eLearn Security Junior Penetration Tester. It's made from the company eLearn Security. And to be honest, the course was very, very good for a beginner, for somebody who does not have any information about penetration testing, even cybersecurity. And by that, you are getting all the information as a beginner, even if you didn't start or study cybersecurity, even computer science. If you did not study computer science at all, even though you have the possibility and you are able to start into penetration testing. And I did finish some of the other courses from eLearn Security as well. Especially for web application penetration testing and infrastructure. And this is also part of my presentation today, how anybody can start and which certifications are getting to help you in the industry, as well as to get your first position into penetration testing or cybersecurity in general.
Thank you, Ahmed. We will talk about certifications because that's as well something very important in the market, and as in general, people do believe that it helps in their career. But I would like to ask as well, Jauhar. Jauhar, as the co-moderator today, what do you think is the perception of the Tunisian market about becoming a cybersecurity professional? What do people study, or what did you study to actually start in the field?
Yes, Magda. Already, I have not mentioned it. Also, I am an instructor, cybersecurity instructor, and my student all the time asking me. Already now, Hiba and Gabriel have mentioned the development skills or knowledge. I have a questions from my student. How much coding knowledge or which coding language that I need to master, and how much that we need such knowledge? This is a question for our speakers. If can.
Yeah, if anyone can tell us from your experience how much coding, I think it's a very good question, because when I, for example, myself, I tried to be a pen testing. So I'm very, very careful about what I'm saying, because I'm definitely far from any of the experts on the panel when it comes to pen testing. But I do love hacking, and I started a long time ago trying to hack something called Hotmail. If there is any Gen Zs, they probably don't even know what it is. But I did not succeed. So anyway, I think, Gabrielle, from your perspective, how much coding you need to learn to start the career?
I heard people started without any coding experience, so it's absolutely possible. So I would say, to be able, like for example, to be able to do a cross-site scripting, you have to know a few payloads in JavaScript. To be able to do a SQL injection, you have to know some payloads in SQL, of course. So I would say just start working on coding projects, start learning about various languages, and also very important is to get the mindset, the algorithm mindset. This is very, very helpful, because once you know the mindset and the logic, it's going to be, you're going to be able to learn more and to progress very fast. So you I heard people did it without any experience. I would say the best is to have maybe 1 year of experience is a good start, and just go for it and work on projects, and this way you're going to learn very, very fast.
Yeah, thank you, Gabrielle. So basically, from your perspective, 1 year of coding is a good average to be comfortable. I want to come back to Hiba. Hiba, what is your thoughts about that? When you already started, especially the CTFs, they are so varied. You have different type of catch the flag competition or capture the flag competitions. From, like you said, you can have a web app, you can have a mobile app, you can have many types. So what are your thoughts about that? The coding, how much and which language?
I would say the secret recipe is as follows. So you cannot hack what you don't understand. So it depends on what we are talking about. Is it a web application? Then we need to know how does web applications work? What are the technologies are there to make a web application, so that we can later on say, okay, I can hack that. If you're talking about mobile applications, similarly. So it depends on what we are trying to hack, and we need to understand how does it work, so that we can find a weakness or a vulnerability in this technology. So this is the main thing. So me as when I started, so I was already a computer science engineer. So I studied so many programming languages. I started C, C++, JavaScript, PHP, JavaScript again, Java, sorry. So I almost studied the most famous programming languages at college, and I used to have many projects and assignments. And as I mentioned, in summer, I used to be a software developer. So actually, I practiced a lot during my 5 year at college, and then another year when I studied about cybersecurity. So my case was different. It was around 6 years, but I don't think you don't need all this time. And actually, as Gabrielle was just mentioning, there are domains in cybersecurity that doesn't actually require coding. So GRC, for example, you don't need to be a developer to work in GRC. That's a very different thing. Just like my colleague from Cloudflare was mentioning, it's about people, process, and technology, and policies and procedures, and compliance and governance. So it's not actually related to having a coding example, a coding background. In penetration testing, it's different. It's actually preferred to have a coding background, because as we were just saying, you cannot hack what you don't understand. So this is my opinion.
Thank you, but I think it's a very relevant point. I think you two girls brought something that is extremely important. You cannot break something that you don't understand. And I think the other term when you try to hack something without understanding is you call script kiddies. So that's what I tried many years. So obviously when you try to hack without really knowing how and things work and how to really do it logically, not randomly. And again, to break things, you need to know how they work. So Ahmed, the question to you, when you perform your penetration testings nowadays, do you actually understand everything that is happening within that client? Or what is exactly the first step that you perform in order to achieve that? And how do you usually do it?
Well, it's a good question because in 90% of the penetration tests we are doing with the clients, normally we sit with the client first before we even touch anything technically. To understand how the application is working, what is the target of the application, because as you have said it before, to hack it, you need to understand how it's working. And that's what we are trying to do with the client, to understand what what we need to do and what's also the goal of the application. For example, if it's a web application, in order to try to break or to find vulnerabilities in the application itself. So we understand the application, we get the information from the client, what specific vulnerabilities they are trying to exploit or to find in their application, and we are trying to do that on their like suggestion or to search for them. But the most important part is to understand how the application is working, even non-technical, to see what is the goal of the application at the end.
If I
Thank you
may
very
add
much.
something as
Yes.
well, it's also worth mentioning that we need to understand the asset value of the application. So how critical is it to the business? So sometimes banks, for example, they can have a very small application related to like reserving your turn at a bank at the bank, and maybe it's a very critical application that you manage your finances. So it depends, and we need also to understand the value of what we are testing.
Thank you, Hiba, for chiming in. Everyone, please feel free to chime in if you have something to add. Absolutely. Gregory.
Yeah, so one thing you said that stuck with me is you need to understand something before you can break it. My kids would disagree. I think where the understanding comes into play is providing advice, right? So you broke something, but you also want to advise your client or your organization that you work for on what to improve. And that's where the understanding is critical, because if you don't have that understanding, then you're simply going around and breaking stuff. And there are plenty of people out there that go around and break stuff. It's very easy to go around and break stuff. Trust me, I've broken stuff. I've had people break stuff, and things will break. If you can build it, you can break it. But the value that you bring as a consultant, as a pen tester, or basically anyone, is not in breaking stuff or raising your finger and telling anyone they're wrong, but supporting someone in doing things in a better way and providing actionable advice. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I tell people as well. I recruited a lot of people over my career, and I always recruit for mentality. Of course, certifications, they're great. Being able to show that in practice is even better. Like Hiba said, the CTFs or some of the training programs that we have online nowadays, they're fantastic. But how you behave as a person and how you contribute is by far the most important thing. And of course, you can develop that as a person, but you'll need to understand the value that you're able to provide to your clients or to the organization that you will work in.
I think, Gregory, you mentioned something that probably a lot of attendees are curious about. You mentioned hiring, and this is something that, is a top question that come into any kind of career opportunities. And you mentioned certifications. So in your years of experience, what type of certifications you saw that brought a lot of value into, the hiring on a practical side? On like maybe you know, if you can separate it on a more technical, less technical, that would be also helpful.
Yeah, so when I started, colleges didn't provide cybersecurity education, right? So people had to figure out IT as we went along, and thankfully now we have organizations like IC Squared to provide some structure to that. And there are many programs out there. Foundationally, it's good to understand IT. How does it work? What is a programming language, right? Like many of the panelists already mentioned. I typically look for practical knowledge. So what can you show me that will bring that value? And so, for example, things like Hack the Box provide more value to me nowadays than, let's say, static knowledge, such as a certified information security manager certificate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is definitely hands-on experience is a very great example. I wrote it in the chat for everyone. If you don't know what was that, Hack the Box is a website that allows you to perform a lot or be part of a lot of competitions. It's really fantastic. We used it as well in some of our events where we had women on cyber hackathons. Ahmed, what about you? What do you think? You mentioned e-learning platforms and those type of platforms, but what about certifications? What are your thoughts about them, and do you actually believe in that as a very good value?
Well, it is, but as mentioned before, it's the most important part to show what you have learned. And that's why almost or some of the companies are doing that while they are interviewing the people. They are not only asking about that theoretical part, they are implementing kind like of a TTF or a practical part where the people need to pass that or find the flag or find the vulnerability and exploit it technically. And that's where we can see, okay, they have learned it, they have practiced it through a certification or not, but they have the technical part and the technical knowledge, or they are not able to find the vulnerability. This is not bad, but they need to practice much more to be able to do this technical job. That's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. I would say I would like to add just for everyone that certifications are an important topic, but like everyone here mentioned, it's not only about that. It's more important to show that you're capable of doing certain things practically, and the CTFs are great. But also, I would like to come back on something that Gabrielle mentioned that's very important is the knowledge of, for example, network, how it works. Because if you don't have the fundamentals, you definitely are not going to be able to actually achieve much. So Hiba, what or Ahmed maybe, I don't know, Ahmed, I see you unmuted. So maybe let's start with Ahmed. Do you want to add something about this?
Well, I think that's absolutely correct because if you do not have the fundamentals, you can find or try to get more understanding about it. Because I have heard it from a lot of friends. From my side, they did interviews with a lot of big companies, and the questions they are getting through their interview is really basic fundamental questions. They are trying to see if they have the fundamentals, the basics, and if they are able to get much more knowledge. But the most important part is to have the fundamentals. If you do not have that, you can't get much more knowledge or do the technical side.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. And I think also with the AI, this is very important, the testing of really understanding the architecture, really understanding the network, really understanding the concepts. Otherwise, you know, you can always ask ChatGPT, it's going to reply to you. But then in the interview, you need to prove that, like, again, you understand what you're talking about. Hiba, you wanted to add as well something about it?
Yeah, so regarding the certifications, I think it depends on which part in their career are they. So if we have some years of experience, so you are already working for a corporation, so they can fund the certification and actually gives you a very credibility and studying with certification is actually very good because it organizes the knowledge and make you adjust your mindset in a good way, and maybe you can have an opportunity to have to work with labs and have hands-on experience. But I want to go back, if we are starting their career, not everyone is financially privileged, so maybe having certification can be an obstacle. So I would love to talk about alternatives for if for any reason you cannot afford to get a certified at the beginning of your career. I would say that's totally fine, because many organizations actually look for your mindset and the knowledge versus the certification, which is actually something I really do myself, and I appreciate and respect any other companies that do the same. So at the beginning, there are many free resources that you can leverage to learn and also to practice and sharpen your skills. So maybe you would like to focus on these things at first, and don't like exhaust yourself with like it's not a must to get certified early in your career. Instead, spend and invest your time in understanding the fundamentals and master it, so that you can make sure that you have the correct mindset, the correct methodology. You know why there's a certain vulnerability, why this exploit is working. Because I interview so many people, and they are like, okay, we tried this payload and it worked. Okay, so what is the problem here? They don't know. Why did it work? How can we solve it? Because it's not cool that we break stuff. Actually, we are professionals, so we need to make sure that we can build them as well. We can help the client or the companies that we are working with to secure the things as well. So it's not you're not a hacker anymore. You're now a more professional person. So you need to know why this exploit is working, and everything that is like behind that, so that you can help whoever you are working with to mitigate the thing and make sure their systems are secured. So also at the beginning of your career, you may want to spend time on bug bounty. Being in Hall of Fame, this can give you a very good reputation and also help you to sharpen your knowledge. This is one thing, and the other thing is also CTFs as well. And also there are many big organizations that offer certifications sometimes for free. So ICS Squared, they have certified in cybersecurity. The content is here for free, and sometimes occasionally they make vouchers so that people can go for the exam for free as well. And not only ICS Squared, there are many resources as well. We have Portswigger, they are having very good labs and videos to learn about web security, and so many others. So there are many resources that can practice on for free at first. Hack the Box, try Hack Me, the list goes on.
Thank you very much. But I think there's a very, very critical point here. Not everything is for money, and it's important because not everyone has the means, especially if you're young, if you're just starting your career, the company might not be able to sponsor you. It's really important to know that there are certain resources where you can achieve something and prove to the potential company that is hiring you that you have the right skills. And Hack the Box, try it, Hack Me. I send on the chat a few other links. There is a certification from ISC2 that also helps to show some fundamentals, which is certified in security. It's actually a free certification, but it's not a penetration testing. It's different, but it allows to show that you have fundamentals. And again, what we said is to have and prove the fundamentals. I think that in terms of certification in general, also to give a little bit more visibility to the audience, I personally, and I know that in my network, a lot of people recognize and like very much OSCP as a proof of penetration testing skills, which is by offensive security. But that's, again, it's a paid certification, and it starts by 24 hours lab where you need to solve a few machines, which is really exciting. It can be time consuming as well. But again, coming back to Hiba's point, it's extremely important and relevant to know that not everything is for money to prove your skills. Now, I think we talked about where, and how to start the courses. What did you have in terms of background, education? We learned that the development is very important to know some languages, especially Python. We talked now a little bit about the certifications. But I want to, before we go to the next topics about the career, I want to ask Gregory about what do people understand when they say penetration testing? What are the client's expectations when sometimes they went into your career and ask you for a penetration testing?
They probably expect you to magically solve everything. But what they most of the time don't realize or don't fully realize is that you're usually taking a scope in mind. And so penetration test, you can only test so much. and you got to prepare a specific scope, and that's what you're testing for. So that doesn't give you a get out of jail free card as an organization. You've done your pen testing, probably checked some legal and compliance checkbox somewhere, but your IT estate is much larger. And so organizations need to grapple with that, right? Penetration testing is usually perceived as a single project, but organizations need to think about how do we continuously test our environment to ensure that there are no gaps left.
Thank you, Gregory. I cannot agree more. That very often companies think that this is a magical way to find all the gaps, which is not true, of course, and it depends on the maturity of the organization. But Gabriela, with your experience, how do you see this first initial request from the clients or companies, and also what type of penetration testing in general clients ask for? Because we talked about penetration testing in general, but there are many, many types of penetration testing.
The most common I've seen, and maybe Heba and Gregory have another point of view on this, but the most common I've seen is web pen test, because it's, I would say it's the most obvious because it's the thing you have that exposed on the internet. So we see a lot of web pen tests. And the next one after this would be the external pen test. So the difference between web pen test and external pen test is that web pen tests are going to be focused on the web application, and external pen test is focused on the external network. So how can you introduce yourself in the network, and how can you get into a specific network? So yeah, these are the most ones I see. And also another one that is more and more common because of the presence of our smartphones that are that's our gateway to the world. We have a lot of a mobile application pen test as well.
Yeah, thank you, Gabrielle. Yeah, I think mobile application pen testing is increasing because nowadays we use our phones so much. But Gregory mentioned something that I think is really important, like, out of jail card. There's two point of the coin, or two sides of the coin. You have the client who think that because they need to do something in cybersecurity, that if they do a pen testing, they will be okay if there's something that happens. And then the other point is the pen tester needs an out of jail card. So maybe a lot of people still today, especially youngsters, think that they can pen test anything, and if they are bored at home or they want to practice, they just find the IP or a website of, I don't know, Google, Hotmail, doesn't exist, Yahoo, or whatever other platform, and try to hack it. So let's understand that that's illegal. Ahmed, what do you think about the out of jail card for penetration tester? What you need to do from a legal perspective when you start penetration testing with clients?
Well, that's a very good and important question and point to mention for anybody starting into penetration testing. I am also giving a lot of courses for people starting into penetration testing. And the most important part we are mentioning here, anybody is not allowed to test any website on the internet, although they have something called PTA, standing for permission to attack. This file or this document must be signed by the company you are trying to attack. For example, a web application in our case, because this is the only part which will give you something called out of jail in case they are going to the law and telling them this person is trying to do a cyber attack on our assets or web application. Therefore, it's really, really important to sign that with the company or with the person you are trying to do a penetration test for. So in case you have a problem, the web server goes down or anything like this, you are on the safe side and they are not going to put you in the jail in this case. Therefore, the most important part, please make sure you have, before a penetration test, something called permission to attack signed by you and the company you are trying to secure or attack.
Thank you, Ahmed. And I think it's not just a yes over a phone. It needs to be written. It needs to be a confirmation that is
absolutely
legally viable. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just
Thank you. Yes.
yes, Magda. Just follow up on Ahmed what I talk about vulnerability. In case someone found a vulnerability, what is the ethical responsibility that comes with discovering this vulnerability?
Well, it depends on the sector or the company you have targeted, because I have read I think 3 months ago that somebody found a vulnerability in a company and they did not have any bug bounty program or something like that. And he reported the vulnerability. It's okay, it's good from him. But the company just contacted the legal department, and they just the person had a big problem because he does not have or read any bug bounty program. He does not have any permission to attack. Because of that, I am saying again, please make sure when you attack a web application, if they have any bug bounty program or something like that, it's good from you to identify vulnerabilities and report it to the company, but it's not allowed. That's the most important part. If they do not have any bug bounty program or you do not have any signed permission to attack, do not attack or try to find or to help the company, because even though it's still illegal for anybody.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. Just Ahmed, to make, let's say, more specific for the vulnerability. In case there is vulnerability in a desktop application, there is no attack. I undiscover in this make reverse engineering or whatever type of attacking the application, and I found a critical vulnerability, 0-day, a vulnerability that are not known. So what I should do?
Well, it's a good question because you are not directly talking with a web server, so they can't really identify it. But I think in this case, you can possibly report the vulnerability to the vendor because you are not exploiting it on the web server itself. They can't to 99% identify it, even though just please make sure you are on the good legal side, but I hope they will accept it and you will not get any legal trouble.
Thank you, Ahmed. Magda,
Yeah, so
back to you.
yeah, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Ahmed. I think in summary, basically, don't hack randomly things because that's not allowed and not legally allowed, especially so you can get yourself into legal trouble. But we talked about, okay, I am a new passionate cybersecurity professional, right? I get a few CTFs, I learn Python, I understand the different penetration testing, I have some ISC2 certifications. How do I get a job? So I want to ask you, Hiba. So what do you think would be the first thing that the person should do aside having that visibility? But let's be more practical.
Okay, that's a very good question. So let's talk about how to land your first cybersecurity job. So the first thing that, just like we mentioned in our questions or discussion earlier in our panel, the first thing is that you should have the proper knowledge and master the fundamentals, so that whenever you are building, you are actually increasing your knowledge and you're building on a very strong foundation. So this is a very important thing. The other thing, you need to prove that you are already clever and can do the work good. So you need to prove that. Bug bounty is a very good way to do that. So instead of hacking websites and they're not going to give you money, instead go to the bug bounty and they can give you money in return, or maybe you can have your name in a hall of fame. This will help you to have a very good reputation in the market, and also the capture the flag competitions. Now comes the part that we want to land our first job. So there are so many platforms that you can apply for internships or entry job, just like LinkedIn or any other websites, and start going through the interviewing process. But I would say before that you need to make sure that you have the proper soft skills, how to handle an interview, how to answer questions effectively, because sometimes I meet people that they are super clever but they cannot answer the question in the interview. They get super stressed, super worried, and they cannot express themselves correctly. So we need to make sure that we have the proper soft skills that help us express ourselves, express our knowledge. And before the interview, we need to make sure that we like arrange our mindset, know how we're going to answer questions, what are the important things that I need to highlight, and what are the excessive information that I don't need to go in deeper unless the interviewer has started discussing with me and asking me to go further and explain. So I think these are like the basic things that you need to do to land your first cybersecurity job. In addition to that, make sure that you have internships. So try to apply internships even before graduating. That will help you to get connected with people from the market and gain practical knowledge. All these factors gonna help you to land your first cybersecurity job.
Thank you. I mentioned something that's very important. Get to know people, and building your network is very, very important. But Gregory, as you hired a lot of people, let's say that I am a young 19, 20 years old girl in Tunisia. Imagine that, right? And I reach out to you. How do I reach out to you? And do I reach out to you in order to seek an internship, for example? Please do not spam Gregory after this webinar. This is just for an example. But would you consider someone reaching out to you over social media as a first contact, or do you recommend them to apply directly across your career? What do you think would work the best?
I like it actually when people connect with me on, for example, LinkedIn. And I would certainly, I think in line with what Hiba said, recommend to get to know some people of the organization where you're applying, maybe even before you actually apply, either through an internship or through scouring social media and making some connections, asking some questions in advance. That is certainly helpful. It will give you an idea of the organization that you are going to work for, whether or not people like it. And that is going to be very important for your career going forward. Careers are not linear paths, and much of the discourse in cybersecurity is about resilience nowadays. In cybersecurity, we as people need to be resilient as well. So if for some reason it doesn't work out, or you get stuck in a job that you don't like, you need to be resilient and be able to bounce back, work on your network, and find something that you like. And maybe that's not pen testing, right? But there's so much out there that you can do and try, and have a resilient mindset is very important for anyone going onto the labor market right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Gregory. I think the market is also different from one country to another. And the advantage of being a penetration tester or working cybersecurity is that you can do it remotely. So no matter where you are, in Tunisia, in Poland, Morocco, Singapore, or Egypt, you still have a lot of opportunities if you're smart about it. But Gabrielle, can you tell us about you? How did you land your first job? Because you have a lot of sharing there as well, I believe.
So the first pen test position I got, so I was still in Paris at the time, and I went to international job fairs, and I submitted my resume through this way, and I got first an interview, and that's how I got hired. So what was the thing that made my application different from other and that make it interesting to them was the fact that I had a blog where I was documented how I trained myself to become a pen tester, and a project I had contributed to, and articles I wrote and things like that. And they really, really liked it. Another thing, so the next opportunity I had was through LinkedIn. Actually my team leader, the person who became my team leader, contacted me through LinkedIn to ask me if I wanted to join the organization. And then I said yes, and that's how it worked. So yes, and my LinkedIn is also I worked a lot on it to make it very um, um, attractive to employers, because so I detailed every project I've done. I have various links. So I have a website, I have a blog, I have a place that's called Wakelet, where I put all the articles I wrote or the interviews I have. So yes, the thing is, try to build, you don't have to build a personal brand, but try to be visible. It's a nice way to make your profile attracting to employers. And of course, it's very important, as Magda mentioned, to network. So go to conferences, try to meet people at conferences. Like, this is very helpful. One of the things I did in my self-training as a pen tester was to go to conferences and to also volunteer at conferences or at organizations, because this is a nice way to network, and it's also a good way to learn, because you get to see conferences and to have various point of views on a specific topic, and it's really helpful also to help you target exactly what you want to do. If you are not sure you want to go to pen test, this is a way also to confirm it that this is something you want to do.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Ahmed, you want to add here?
Well, I got a topic in my mind because I have a lot of students and people. They're asking me, I'm applying to a lot of jobs and I'm just getting rejections over 1 year, over 2 years, etc. And the whole point is you will face this issue at the beginning. I personally faced it for 1 year for my first position. I was applying. The first point, it was good because it's giving you much more to be confident in the personal training, in the talking itself, how you can present yourself. This is also a good step. But on the other side, it's just not only technical. It's also from the physical side, how you can act with stress situations, how you can act with the client, represent yourself. This is the most important part. And I'm just telling that because I'm trying to give you a motivation. When you get a rejection, a second one, third one, etc., do not stop. Try to move on, try to improve yourself. Even if you are good, this is not a rejection because you are bad or personally bad or something like this. Not at all. It's just depending on multiple factors behind in the company's policy. You do not have to know this information. You are doing great. Keep applying, move forward, and try to be much more professional. And at the end, after 1 year or 1 year and 2 months to be specific, I just landed my first position. Even I had a lot of hard time at the beginning, and I'm just intentionally meaning or telling you that to give you the motivation, to let you know you will not get the acceptance in the first meeting or second meeting. Maybe it's happening 1%, it's okay. But in case you are just getting rejections, do not stop and do not be sad. It's just normal, and this is just a small motivation for you to let you know, keep working on yourself and you will get the first position, hopefully.
Thank you, Ahmed. Very insightful, I think, feedback, and very important. So first of all, don't give up. The very important part is to build your profile. It can be a personal brand, it can be an online presence. If you can do a blog, even on WordPress, it's free. Write what you know while you are learning. You don't need to write expert blogs. You can write as well your journey of learning. So you show to actually people that you are passionate about that topic. And then, of course, network. So to give everyone feedback, LinkedIn applications, all my friends are saying that they don't get any responses, even the experienced ones. So it's not personal. It's not about you. It's about in general. There's so many people applying. There's so many demand, and there's a little bit of supply of jobs nowadays. So you need to network. That's the best. And like you heard, Gregory, for example, like when people reach out to him. So it is a mix of opportunities on how to land your first job. And I personally as well, if someone reaches out to me and tell me I'm interested in a position, if I have that position or internship opportunity, of course I will reply with a positive reply if that's the case. So They are opportunities, but they are different from just keeping on applying randomly. That's the point. Okay, so we talked about education. We talked a little bit about certifications, the CTF, how to try to land. We are over an hour now. I would like to actually perhaps address, because 2 hours a little bit long as well as a webinar, address some topics that are not within my questions, but what do you think in general as a one specific area that we didn't talk about that could be very interesting to add for someone who wants to become a pen tester? I will start with Hiba.
Actually, it's not a new point, but I would love to like assure a point that we have been discussing that is related to the networking and the personal branding and all these stuff. While these are very important things, but make sure that you are doing that while you have a strong foundation and a strong knowledge. Because sometimes we see people who are just like pretend to have knowledge, but actually when we go through interviews with them, they appear that they didn't do enough work and they spend more time trying to show off. So this is a very important thing, that make sure that you have the strong foundation and knowledge before thinking about expressing them to others. Make sure you have it and express it, but it's very important that you express it. So it's both important. The other thing maybe we haven't talked about is that, and maybe it's a question for all of us to think about it. So should someone who has already started their career as penetration tester, do they continue to work as penetration testers for like the rest of their careers, or they should shift? It's a question for all of us to think together in this.
I'd like to say something on that if you don't mind.
Sure.
Go on, Gregory.
Yeah, do what you like for as long as your employer will have you. And so if that means penetration testing, then sure, you can make a lifelong career out of being a pen tester. But there are many other things to explore. Like you're exploring a computer system for vulnerabilities, explore your organization for vacancies. There are many things to look out for. And be curious, right? So I think that's always a good trait for a pen tester to have. Be curious about what else is out there, because you might be missing the opportunity of a lifetime if you don't look out for it.
I
I
love
think it's
that
a very,
actually. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, Hiba, go on.
No, I was just going to reflect on his answer, because actually I love that it actually depends on you. If you want to spend your life doing it, then it's okay. And we have seen people doing that, and later on they started to make their own tools and methodologies to automate things and make other people's life easier. And they're discovering 0 days and things like that. And there are other people who are exploring other domains. So explore your organization to see other vacancies, just like you were saying. So yeah, you can move after working for some years as a penetration tester, and then move to other areas in cybersecurity. Because as like we were mentioning, that we all complete each other, all the domains of cybersecurity complete each other. You don't have to stick to a specific domain. And actually starting as a penetration tester, this is a very good foundation, that even if you went to other areas in cybersecurity, you still have a very good technical and proper foundation that will help you to explore other areas as well. And actually, from what I have seen, there are people who start with web penetration testing and then mobile and then network, and then they get specified in things that are a little bit niche. For example, the VoIP, not many people is doing it, the OT. So maybe you can start with the domains that have like many people working in that, and then get specific specifications in niche domains, like IoT security. I saw people doing that as well. Ahmed and Magda, I think you both had questions. Magda first, you start.
Ahmed, go on.
Okay, Ahmed, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, Hiba, to make this also sure, some of the people are starting in the penetration testing area and getting into specific fields like web application penetration testing. But after that, they go to the blue teaming or to the defense side to just explore the SOC team, how it's working. SOC team, for anybody who does not understand, SOC team, it's the Security Operations Center, standing for the defense side, to see what the logs are, what activities, malicious activities are going on. And after they just got into the SOC team or the blue team, to be much more specific, they get back to the penetration testing activities. And here they have much more knowledge, much more understanding how the blue teaming side is working, how they can identify their attacks. And therefore, they are having now much more knowledge how they can, for example, sharpen their attacks instead, in case they want to be just under the radar or to be not detected.
Yeah, maybe I can add on a lifelong career as a penetration tester. I recently met a person who created the Tiber framework. And if you don't know, Tiber is a framework for penetration testing, and he became so good at it that it caught the eye of banks, the ECB in Europe. And in fact, he worked with legislators to have it embedded in legislation in Europe, that's DORA. So talk about a lifelong career in penetration testing. He essentially created his own his own field of work by embedding his methodology in legislation, and now that legislation is executed by financial institutions across Europe on a very frequent basis. So he's not short of work for the foreseeable future, and so that goes to show if you really become an expert, there are incredible things that can happen.
Yeah, thank you, Gregory. I think this gave us as well some more visibility about that. You know, penetration testing can open a lot of different roles. First of all, there's several type of penetration testing. Then very often we think that penetration testing is only web or network, but no, there's operational technology, OT, IoT, Internet of Things. There's a lot of things that you can try to break and basically help to fix afterwards. Don't forget that that's the objective, not only breaking. The companies need to fix the vulnerabilities. And you can even become so good that you either find 0-day vulnerabilities that no one knows yet, or basically you find a way to be involved in other very significant projects or frameworks that are used by banks. I think that's fantastic career. Anything else, anyone that you would like to add, or an encouragement word? And then I will leave Jawher to go to the conclusion if there is no further questions or comments.
Just make the questions. Maybe many of the audience will asking about AI. So how do you think AI is changing or will change the pen testing field? Yeah.
I have a perspective from, let's say, a job seeker. And so I understand that many people coming onto the labor market right now are a bit anxious from what they're reading in the news about AI replacing junior jobs. From my perspective, most of that is window dressing for organizations that wanted to reorganize anyway and are now using AI as an excuse to do so. So they're firing people. Technology in the past has never led to less work. It has always led to more work, maybe slightly different. But there are still many organizations out there that expand their trainee programs and want to grow despite AI replacing or displacing jobs. So don't feel discomfort when you read this, but see it as an opportunity. The world is changing, it's changing quite rapidly, and we need fresh young minds to adapt with it.
I think this was an amazing question, Jawher. Thank you for raising it. I completely, even didn't forgot about AI, but AI is so important and critical nowadays. And I want to still continue on that question for Gabrielle. Now that you said you have your own company performing that, do you actually use AI tools to, support your penetration testing? And if you do, to which extent, or even further, are your clients expect you to use those tools?
So it can be a gain of time, but you have to be very careful with what you put in AI if it's not something that you have locally. So be careful with your customer data. Do not put this in an AI. I think the best way to use AI is to deploy something locally, and it can be done with, it doesn't have to be something with expensive hardware. You can use Oyama with an old computer. It's still going to run. So it's definitely a tool. It's definitely going to help you gain some time on various things, but you also need to know, like if you use generative AI, for example, or you need to be able to be good at prompting. So it's also a good skill to have to be good at prompt engineering. So what I could add also is you can also learn how to pen test AI, because it's going to be something that's going to come more and more. People are going to need to test their infrastructure and how they deploy the AI in their companies. And also, it's definitely something that adds layers to the attack surface, because it's in a way it's a black box where you can give a lot of input, but you don't know how it reacts, and it's not deterministic. So you need to know how to tackle it and how to pen test it, and people are deploying it, and some companies are deploying it, but are we sure it's really, really safe? And so that's definitely something that is going to be needed. People who are going to so you have already some frameworks working on this. You have the OWASP top 10 for LLM and machine learning. And so there's a lot of documentation that you can find online for this. And it's also very, very exciting. So I really recommend you work on this.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gabrielle. I think the AI usage. Yeah, definitely. There's a say that say if you don't, it's not the AI is going to replace people. It's going to replace basically people who don't use AI going to be replaced by people using AI. And I think it's a very valid statement, because if you don't leverage the technology that allows you to become more productive, to actually achieve certain things better, quicker, you will be behind. So I do know that we didn't address some of the other topics, like penetration testing reports, which I think is also very, very interesting. But I do want as well to keep some topics for future webinars too, and not disclose everything in
Yes.
the single webinar. But reading penetration testing reports, it can be very interesting, but also it can show you the reality of companies, and around the world, companies have certain things in common. They still need to work on their security a lot. A lot of times they're not mature enough, and there's a lot of things that repeat themselves. But I don't want to spoil this. Like I said, let's keep this as a topic. How to write a good webinar. You gave me, a good report. You gave me an idea for a future webinar as well. Okay, so Jawher, would you like to make a conclusion and talk a little bit maybe about ISC2 Tunisia chapter before we thank everyone?
Yeah, so I squared in chapters. It's a new baby, let's say. We have 1 year, but we have many presence in the social media. We have our LinkedIn, we have our websites, and already this session will be recorded and is available with other events that we'll have in our YouTube channels. So I want to thank you all for these insightful contributions. So I am sure that everyone has taken away valuable lessons and inspiration from your experience. And I truly inspiring to see how different journeys and perspective can all lead to success in penetration testing. So as I have mentioned, the session has been recorded and will be available soon in our IC2. Just to mention again, it's IC2. We don't say IC square in the Tunisia chapter YouTube channels. So feel free to revisit and share it. And we look forward to seeing you at the next chapter event. Magda, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jawar. And I would like just to say, please, as no one asked any questions, please don't hesitate to ask on the YouTube or on our social media, and also ideas for future webinars. So thank you so much, everyone who has kindly accepted to, give us so much time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Hiba. And thank you, Gabrielle. It was fantastic to have you. We really appreciate it. And I hope you all gave inspiration and motivation to people who are here and to everyone who's going to watch actually this webinar in the future as well. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening or day
Thank you so
ahead.
much. I really
Thank you
enjoyed.
very much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye.